and these residents are saying, look, we guarantee the kind of daily life that sustains these areas that tourists come to see. So if we're not there anymore, it'll just be tourists meeting tourists, and therefore there'll be nothing left. So how about a few less restaurant tables?
Narrow Roman streets are being invaded by Al-Fresco diners as pandemic-era table rules have let restaurants overwhelm the city's historic neighbourhoods. Anti-table activists, yes, that's a thing. Residents who are fed up of restaurants extending their outdoor areas will now also have outdoor bookworms to deal with because bookshops are preparing to get in on the act. Let's talk to Tom Kington, Rome correspondent for The Times. Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hello, how are you?
Yes, I'm very well indeed, thank you. I'm quite intrigued by this story, not least because of the bookshops. What are the bookshops planning to do? Just put tables outside so everyone can just sit and read a nice book for a while?
No, they can apparently, or they would be able to, because it hasn't passed yet, but under this measure, they would be able to serve food and drink as well. So this is to do with the fact that in a kind of rather good altruistic fashion, the city of Rome has decided that they've got to do something to defend the city's last handful, really, of small independent bookshops. There aren't that many, there's perhaps a couple of dozen. They're in danger. We all know that people don't read books anymore, and so the city has said, well, look, if we can keep them in business by allowing them to put tables out front and serve a cup of coffee and a sandwich, then maybe they'll be able to survive. However, that has incurred the wrath of these residents groups in the centre of Rome who are already on war footing about the restaurants who they say are taking the mickey by putting tables right across streets so that you can barely walk down them anymore. They're saying, well, this is just the last straw, because if the bookshops are going to be having their tables outside as well, where will it end? So it's quite a puzzle to solve, really.
OK, is there some kind of a political motivation or political underbelly to this story? I have read your fantastic piece in The Times, and this is a suggestion that you're investigating.
Can you say that again? You dropped out just in the key moment when you put the question.
Well, that's spooky, isn't it? It's as if
Yes.
somebody's listening. Is it true that Giorgia Meloni basically is on the side of the restaurateurs because they're very powerful, so she doesn't want anything to be done about this?
It has been said, critics of Meloni say that she'll do anything for the restaurateurs because they are quite a powerful lobby in Italy, and they got what they wanted during COVID, i.e. that ability to extend their tables out front, because at the time it was like this health thing, better if people eat outdoors. However, Meloni's government has been renewing that permission ever since. COVID is no longer. Why, people ask, are they doing that? And some feel the answer may be that the restaurateurs really like it this way because they get to serve a lot more people, and Meloni is happy to do that for them.
Right. I mean, it's a good thing if restaurants and bars and cafes and bookshops thrive, isn't it?
Well, restaurants, yes. It's great if everyone thrives. However, the residents of Rome's historic neighborhoods are saying that they are not really thriving themselves because they can't get out their front doors. They can't get to sleep at night because there are so many people clattering their cutlery down below. And so they're saying, come on, what about us? And furthermore, if this goes on, we are going to be forced to move out, and that is going to turn the centre of Rome and other cities like it ever more into just sort of tourist Disneylands,
Sure.
where no one actually lives there anymore. This is also already a problem that we see with Airbnb driving people out because rents shoot up, and these residents are saying, look, we guarantee the kind of daily life that sustains these areas that tourists come to see. So if we're not there anymore, it'll just be tourists meeting tourists, and therefore there'll be nothing left. So how about a few less restaurant tables?
How tasty do you think this is going to get? Who's going to win this?
I think that One of the problems is that the national government, which could rein in the use of tables by restaurants, has said, members of that government have said in the past that they don't have much sympathy for the residents of these historic inner city neighborhoods. And I think one of the reasons is because they suspect most of those people are left wing. And, it's the kind of left wing, radical chic, kind of arty types who want to live in the heart of town. And Maloney's people tend to they tend to be suspicious of those people.
I loved the way you said left wing, as if it was really a properly filthy thing. Filthy left wing liberals.
Awful people.
Awful people. Just tell us a little bit more about what is happening in Rome, because you're absolutely right. It reflects part of growing difficulties and frictions between residents and tourists. And it is very difficult for city government to manage, isn't it? Because you want the tourists to come. I think we travel now with an expectation that we can, go and stay right in the heart of a city, live the life for a week. But of course, that's at a cost, isn't it?
Well, you're living the life of the person who probably lived in that flat before you got there and decided that they couldn't stand living in the centre of town anymore and have moved to the sub flat on Airbnb. So it's kind of weird when one of the activists I was talking to for this piece, he was talking about Airbnb, and I said, well, how many Airbnbs are there in your building? And he said, well, there are two of us real residents left. And so most of the time, all I meet on the stairs are people rattling around with suitcases, and they always have to get to the airport at 6 a.m. So it's just a real disturbance, and we feel like we're the kind of bit parts in a film. We're there to sort of play the Roman, so that we can look charming when the people run past us on the staircase with their Samsonites.
Yeah, which would be very, very annoying. Tom, you don't have to answer this question. You can just pretend that the line has dropped off completely. But do you live in the centre of Rome? Are you one of those liberal inner city dwellers?
No, I live just outside the centre, and fortunately, where I live, people haven't woken up to it as an Airbnb destination. Perhaps because it has terrible transport links. Although in about 10 years, they're planning to open a tube station quite close to my house. So maybe I've got 10 years of peace left.
OK, well, enjoy them. It's always lovely to talk to you, Tom. Thank you very much indeed. That's the Times' correspondent in Rome, Tom Kington.